When the doctor said, "Go home," 8 simple laws, 40 days, and the truth about what it takes to stay well. At 60, he had learned how to read a room by the way doctors cleared their throats. This one didn't rush. He leaned back in his chair, folded his hands, and spoke carefully, too carefully. "I want you to get your affairs in order." That was the sentence, not dramatic, not loud, just final. The list of diagnoses felt endless. Obesity, high blood pressure, congestive heart failure, uncontrolled blood sugar, exhaustion that never lifted. His body had become a house with too many broken beams. The doctor didn't say die, but the word hovered in the room all the same. Go home, be comfortable, prepare. He wasn't shocked. He had never liked rules, especially health rules. Diets irritated him. Exercise felt unnecessary. Warnings had always been something to ignore, joke about, or put off for later. He had been non-compliant most of his life. Now, later had arrived. At home, the house felt quieter than usual. He sat longer than usual. Breathing took more effort than usual. Somewhere deep inside, a thought surfaced, uninvited but stubborn. I don't want to die like this. A few days later, a small package arrived, a gift meant for his grandchildren. It was a children's book. He almost set it aside, but the title caught his attention. God's Healthy Laws. Mama, why do people get sick? Curiosity won. He opened it, expecting nothing. What he found instead was simplicity, almost offensively so. 8 basic principles, no pills, no price tag, no complicated instructions. Trust, water, fresh air, sunshine, nutrition, exercise, temperance, rest. It felt out of order, too easy, too late. But one idea refused to leave him alone. God designed the body to heal when it is given what it was created to receive. He closed the book, then opened it again. What do I have to lose, he thought. I'm dying anyway. That night, he pulled out a notebook and wrote everything down. Every law, every step, every small change. He didn't tell his family. They all knew his condition. None of them believed he would ever change. He didn't want hope questioned out of him. Day 1 began quietly. More water than he had ever willingly drunk. Fresh air instead of the recliner. A walk so slow it barely counted as movement. Earlier sleep, simpler food, less of everything that once felt normal. By the 3rd day, he noticed it while tying his shoes. He could breathe. Not perfectly, but easier. He said nothing. By the end of the 1st week, the swelling eased. His sleep deepened. The fog in his head began to lift. Still, he kept going in silence. In the 3rd week, he returned to the doctor. The doctor frowned at the numbers, checked them again. "You've improved," he said slowly. "A little." That little felt like fireworks. His heart was still weak, his weight still high, his blood sugar still unstable, but the direction had changed, and for the first time, so had his resolve. He made a decision that day. If I'm going to die, I'm going to do the right thing. By day 40, the improvement was undeniable. His breathing was easier, his weight was coming down, his body responded as if it had been waiting years for permission. Family congratulated him, friends celebrated, doctors acknowledged the change. It felt like a miracle of grace. And for a while he believed the hardest part was over. Then something devastating happened. Life resumed its rhythm. The praise faded. The routines loosened. One missed walk became 2. One late night became a habit. Familiar foods whispered comfort. Familiar patterns waited patiently. He noticed the slipping before anyone else did. It wasn't rebellion. It wasn't ignorance. It felt like gravity. His mind and body leaned toward what they knew. The more he fought it alone, the weaker his resolve became. The weight crept back, his energy dipped, the warning signs returned, subtle at first, then undeniable. Standing alone in his kitchen one evening, discouraged and confused, he thought, "The program worked, so why am I losing ground?" That night he pulled the book off the shelf again, not looking for a new answer, looking for reassurance. That's when the real question surfaced. What if the problem isn't the plan, but doing it alone? On impulse, he searched for the author. He found her. He called. No answer. He called again. Still nothing. Days passed. He kept slipping. He kept calling. Then one afternoon the phone rang. She listened, really listened, as he told his story. The diagnosis, the book, the 40 days, the miracle, the relapse, the fear that this time the fall might be worse than before. She wasn't surprised. She shared that she had seen it happen again and again. People experienced powerful change in 40 days, only to drift back into their old habits, sometimes further than where they started. Not because they were weak, but because the mind and body fight to return to what feels familiar. "That's why I built something different," she said. "It's not another program. It's a place, a community." She called it the Feeble to Fabulous Academy, a space where people didn't just start well, but stayed steady, where accountability wasn't pressure, where encouragement replaced isolation, where healing didn't end at day 40. He joined the annual community, quietly at first, but something changed almost immediately. This time, when discipline wavered, someone noticed. When motivation dipped, someone else carried it for a day. When old habits tried to reclaim him, truth met him before shame could. Weeks passed, then months. The weight came off again. The numbers stabilized again. But this time, they stayed, because this time he wasn't alone. What nearly ended his life taught him something he wishes he had learned sooner. Healing can begin in a book. Transformation can begin in 40 days, but sustainability is born in community. The cure, it turned out, wasn't willpower. It was walking together. And the man who was once told to get his house in order didn't just survive. He encourages them to begin where he did, by joining the free side of the Feeble to Fabulous Academy, simply to learn how the main program works, to understand the rhythm, to see the order, to realize they don't have to figure it out alone. Start there, he tells them. Then, when you're ready, sign up for the premium course. The next one begins February 2nd. He explains that it's an annual community, one modest fee for an entire year of walking it out together. Not pressure, not perfection, just people choosing the same simple obedience, one day at a time. You owe it to yourself to make sure you win, he says quietly. Not by trying harder, but by stopping the habit of doing everything alone. When people hesitate, he doesn't argue. He just tells the truth. The doctor sent me home to die. Yes, to die. And here I am, living proof that at least for me, God's plan worked. He doesn't promise outcomes. He doesn't make claims. He knows everyone's body tells a different story. But this much he believes with his whole heart. God's plan is worth trying. Community is worth committing to, and no one should have to fight for their life by themselves. He explains that the next course begins February 2nd, and you owe it to yourself to make sure you win. What do you have to lose? Subscribe for at least the 40 days. If you know you want more, subscribe annually. Because at least now he knows God's plan is a winner.